Welcome back to the Daily Mastermind. My name is George Wright III with your daily dose of inspiration, motivation, and education so that you can create your ultimate destiny. I'm really excited to be here with you today. I'm out in Nashville, as I mentioned yesterday in our podcast, working with a lot of different speakers and seven-figure mentors that have come in for our asset protection and wealth conference. And I have a lot of stuff I want to give you as far as ideas and topics, and maybe just plant a few seeds with you to get your thoughts moving this week. But before I do, I want to go ahead and jump into the quote of the day. So if you haven't downloaded the Daily Mastermind mobile app on iTunes or Google, I encourage you to do that because there's some great stuff for your daily rituals, whether it's meditation, affirmations, ebooks, audiobooks. It's all free, and it's there to be able to keep you on track and keep you going. I've even added a new tab to the mobile app, which is for daily rituals, and it's something you can use to basically check the boxes of daily rituals that you do and submit them for prizes and gifts. But I'm doing it primarily just to keep you accountable and keep you on task with creating your daily rituals and your habits for success. So anyway, one of the things I do every day is I pull up the quote of the day, and the quote today was by Aristotle, and it says, "Hope is a waking dream." Think about that for a second. Hope is a waking dream. It's something that we carry throughout the day to be able to take us closer to our dreams. And so I really love that quote. But anyway, jumping right into it, yesterday we talked about I create a win-win. I always think win-win. And we talked about starting from abundance and realizing that in order to be successful and positive and create a win-win, it's not just about negotiating, it's about always starting with the way you think, and the way you think has to be from abundance. And we also talked about creating belief, because you have to believe you can have both. You have to believe that you can do both in your life. And that leads us really well into the topic I want to talk to you about today, which is your finances. Every Tuesday, I like to kind of hit a little bit of financial advice because I'm around so many different experts and seven-figure mentors that I think I'd like to transfer some of that knowledge to you as well. And one of the things we get caught up in, because people have a hard time sometimes, justifying wealth and the focus of money. But the bottom line is money isn't evil, money isn't bad, it's just a reflection of who you are. And sometimes we feel like we have to choose between wealth and happiness, fulfillment and money. And I'm here to draw you back to that point I made earlier, which is that you can believe you can have both. Successful people, both in life, prosperity, and money, they think win-win. They think both. They don't think either or. It's not about having money or family or, success or happiness. It's about having both. And so when you start from a place of abundance, you realize that you can have both and that both is available to you. And today I want to just talk to you just a little bit about finances, wealth, your net worth. I don't know how often you think about those if you just think about them in general, but we're doing a summit, a 3-day summit in Nashville right now where we're hitting topics like asset protection and tax reduction, estate planning, stock and real estate investing, as well as businesses and entrepreneurial topics. And the question that I want to kind of submit to you is, what are you doing to build your wealth? What are you doing to build your net worth? Do you even think about your net worth? Do you even think about what your life is creating and accumulating? I have a feeling that most of us don't. We think of it in general terms, excuse me, but I want you to think of it in very specific terms, because there's a couple of myths that I think a lot of us have, and a couple of excuses that we have. And one of those is that wealth is just going to be it's going to be created automatically one way or the other by working most of our lives. And the bottom line is this: net worth and wealth does not create itself, and it doesn't just happen by default. It has to be purposeful. So I realize that keeping a budget of your money is time consuming, and it's kind of a little bit of brain damage. We think about paying bills and expenses, but what you focus on grows. And if you don't manage your money when you don't have a lot of money, you're not going to be able to manage your money when you have a lot of money, because what you focus on grows. And to get you from where you are to where you need to be, you have to track and be conscious of that. How many times have we seen super successful people that worry over little bits of money and we say to ourselves, man, why is that such a big deal for them? Well, because most successful people I know worry about their money before they have it. So when they have it, they have more of it, right? So wealth does not create itself. You need to be able to have a plan. You need to focus on it. Another thing that I've found over time from meeting with, tens of thousands of people at our events and throughout the last, couple of decades, is it doesn't take a lot of money to start accumulating wealth. See, I think sometimes we use this as an excuse, and that's all it is an excuse. Money is a result of what you do, and it doesn't take a lot of money to make money. Now, yes, with money you can make more money, but I want to identify this because I think it's a barrier that a lot of us set for ourselves. I don't have enough money to invest. I don't have enough money for this and that. The bottom line is you need to learn to live below your means so that you have money. The problem is most of us live above our means, and so we don't have money. But there is always a way to live below your means so that you can take that money and save and invest and create a business or whatever it is you want to do. It does not take a lot of money to start accumulating wealth. Some of the most successful people have accumulated wealth utilizing principles that the wealthy utilize. And you just have to be willing to make some sacrifices short term and live below your means. Now, one of my partners, Robert Stuberg, always talks about 3 different numbers. And if you don't have these numbers now, then you're not focused on growing your wealth. The first number is your financial protection number. And this is being able to have enough in the bank, whether it's cash or savings, to cover your income if you were to lose your income, basically to cover your income for 1 to 2 years. If you don't have that emergency cash, that financial protection number, then you need to determine exactly what that is. How much money do you need to have set aside in case something was to happen? The second number is your financial independence number, and your financial independence number is what it's going to take to cover your income needs, not your wants, your needs for life. So if it's $100,000 a year you need, and you can find some reasonable investments at 10% a year, then you need $1 million, and $1 million will cover your needs. And I want to clarify, what we think we need, we don't necessarily always need. We're talking about food and shelter and whatnot. And the third number is your financial freedom number. And your financial freedom number is enough money in the bank that the interest off that will cover your wants or your lifestyle for life. That number may be, $5 million so that you can live off $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 a year. It might be $1 million so that you have $100,000 a year, and it might be a couple $100,000. Listen, I know those numbers maybe sound big to some of you, but what happens is the more and more you accumulate wealth, the more and more you realize with an abundant mindset that that's very, very doable. But what is your number? What are your numbers? If you don't know what your numbers are, then you have not spent time thinking about creating financial security for you, your family, your loved ones, the people that you're around. The bottom line is you have to start thinking about this stuff. Thinking about this stuff is important. And I guess as long as we're on this subject, I'll mention a couple of other things you may have heard before, but it's time to start thinking more about them. How about the power of compound interest? See, we talk about not having enough money, but you have time on your side, whether it's 2 years or 40 years. Compound interest is a powerful thing. It's something that can work to help you. Compound interest is basically the interest off investments that's added back to the principal sum you've had that can compound and gain more interest. Einstein talked about compound interest as the 8th wonder of the world. This is Einstein that talked about this. So he had said, if you understand compound interest and who earns it and who doesn't, and who earns it and who pays it, then you're gonna be one step ahead of most people. But the most important point is not at the end of compound interest. It's getting started so that you can apply the power of that compound interest. So it's a starting point that most of you are having trouble and barriers with. And some of you have wealth accumulated, but I'm talking about continuing to build and accumulate your wealth. And so it's about using that compound interest power. But the bottom line is I want to just identify a few areas that I'm going to be talking about over the next week or two. And these are areas I want you to be thinking about. One is asset protection, protecting your assets, whether it's anonymity or corporations. Another thing is estate planning. Planning, the difference between a will and a trust, the difference between what's going to happen with your estate and how you want to grow it and protect it. Another thing is tax reduction. The simplest, fastest, easiest way to increase your wealth is to reduce your taxes, to cut your taxes. We all know this, but we don't learn the strategies that are needed. And then there are active and passive income opportunities, ways to increase your current income. And I'm not just talking about your job, but there are active and there are passive ways to increase your income. And then there are many, many strategies for investing. And some of these are conservative, some of these are aggressive, but based on where you're at. What are you doing to invest your money? You should be, as much as you're excited about entrepreneurship and business and your job, you should be excited about creating wealth through investing, because that's your roadmap to financial independence and financial freedom. So my suggestions are: get educated, think about it more often, make a commitment, learn the numbers that you need so that you at least have a target to shoot for, and then learn some systems to make it automatic. Whether it's automatically budgeting, automatically saving, automatically investing, there are ways to do that. And the more you think about it, the more you know, the more you'll do it. I'll continue to drop some value bombs for you that I learned from various experts this week. I'll do a lot of interviews. I'll get you a lot of content on all those areas. But remember, life will give you what you ask of it. And so what you have to do is you have to be willing to build an overall life. It's never too late to start living the life you're meant to live, but that includes all areas, both personal, family, relationships, business, and financial planning. So those are my thoughts for today. I hope there's something that at least get the thoughts generated for you and get you focused on things like growing your net worth. I look forward to talking with you a little bit more. Have an amazing day. Hit me up on the Daily Mastermind on Facebook or Instagram. Send me some feedback. Let me know what you'd like to hear about, and I'll get you the content, and I'll get you the resources and things that you need. Have an amazing day, and I will talk with you soon. This has been George Wright III and the Daily Mastermind.